this video, we're going to be speaking about a shooter that rang the doorbell at a recording studio and killed the man that opened the door.
Wagwan, my peeps, back at it, man. Another edition, another review, another reaction. Let me hear what you feel like, let me hear on the thoughts, let me hear in the comments, man. Like, share, subscribe, you know the vibes, man, so let's get it. Oh!
When it comes to New York City, it's usually Brooklyn or the Bronx making headlines, highlighting the violence within the ghettos of the concrete jungle. But this story is coming out of Staten Island, the city's third largest borough and in 2019 New York's safest. But just days ago, police would announce a manhunt for two masked men, one of which was seen on camera armed with an assault rifle, taking the life of a 23-year-old at a recording studio. January 16, 2022, at approximately 7:48 p.m., two masked men can be seen crossing Van Duzer Street before one man reappears on the doorbell camera of the recording studio. Armed with what looks like an AR-15, a gun that New York has classified an assault weapon and banned within New York City, the masked man is seen ringing the doorbell, then adjusting his mask that failed to cover his face tattoos as he stands waiting for someone to answer.
Boy, they wanna crazy. Who them a man? What them a doorbell shooter? Now in New York, the gun laws are very strict. Very strict. So with these dudes with high-powered rifles, they never know this thing set up. So let's see how this goes. Let's go!
As the door starts to open, he can be seen kicking it in with the rifle aimed high as the second man, who was off camera, reappears with a two-tone handgun, not making it past the front door as a struggle can be heard before gunshots are fired and the two men turn to make an escape. Police arrived at 937 Van Duzer Street in response to a 911 call for a man shot. Officers found 23-year-old Jahaid Chansey suffering multiple gunshots to his back. EMS transported him to the Staten Island University Hospital roughly 13 minutes away. His mother was contacted, arriving at the hospital met by Jahaid's twin brother and told by hospital staff that Jahaid was conscious. It was only an hour later she got the devastating news. Jahaid's bloody hand can be seen holding his mother's after he was pronounced dead.
Drop on the thoughts, what y'all thinking? Wanna feel about this whole situation?
Jahaid had lived in the Stapleton project since he was 1, less than a mile away from the shooting location, and his mother described him as a mama's boy that always wanted to be his own boss, telling her, "We've been in the projects too long. Once we make it big, we're out." Friends who were present at the studio during the shooting described how they tried to stop the shooters. As Jahaid opened the door, the men tried to rush in, but Jahaid was holding the door against the weight of the intruder, unaware he was armed with a rifle. His mother, an employee of Safe Horizons, a victims agency, spoke on how she spent her career helping clients through some of the most devastating times of their lives, and now she was a victim of a horrific event. Friends and family all described Jahaid the same way, a kind-hearted individual that was goal-driven and positive in every aspect. His violent death so undeserved, leaving everyone asking why.
Boy, I don't wanna crazy boy, man. Telling him. This young man had big dreams, big aspirations, you know? Funny how you got gone down in our own studio. You see me, I say, son, you can't trust people. But let's go, let's finish the review.
The young entrepreneur co-owned Demon Low Studios, which only opened back in August of 2020, working with local talent within the city such as Brogard, Bellagio, and Snoop, who is said to be one of Jahaid's close friends that just landed a distribution deal this month. At this time, no arrests have been made and a motive is unknown, but the manhunt for the two shooters continues.
Yes, my viewers and peeps, subscribers, leave on the thoughts, comments, like, share and subscribe, turn on post notification.
Now this, to me, somebody that's looking at it from a criminal standpoint, this seems like a fuck up. This seems like an accident. This seems like something that went wrong. I can't imagine that this was a hit, that they were specifically trying to kill him. They wanted to get inside. If it was him that they wanted, they wouldn't have even needed to necessarily walk in. They could have just opened fire the second they saw him. And a 5.56 bullet, the bullet that's coming out of an AR-15, it would have went through that door perfectly fine. So shutting the door wouldn't have stopped anything. It sounded like it was either a robbery or there was someone else inside of the studio that they were trying to kill. For the second narrative, that can be what is so dangerous, not only about the music industry, specifically with hip-hop rappers, but being associated with people that are indulging in a lifestyle in which you don't. As we can see through this kid's social media, he wasn't a gangster, he wasn't a street type, he wasn't projecting to be a bad person, a criminal, a gangbanger, etc. He seemed like a normal kid. He was from the hood, but he was making a way and he was doing it legally and he was doing it by the book, and I salute. To be a co-owner at 23 of a recording studio, that's an amazing accomplishment, especially for somebody that's coming from the projects. So it leads me to think that it could have been a rapper that was inside of the studio that was being a target. And whether it was a targeted hit or they just wanted to rob the rapper or even rob the studio, it's way too damn messy. Now, I'm sure that the actual shooter, who had on a mask and you can clearly see he's got tattoos all over his face, he was unaware that the camera was inside of the doorbell. I mean, that's just my opinion based on how he was moving.
Boy, it's crazy and quite unfortunate. Don't agree with 1090J. Left on the views, left on the comments, left on the thoughts. Yes, me peeps, viewers and subscribers. Yes, man, on the do the right thing, hit the like button, turn on post notification. We all.
The other guy, the second guy, he was off camera, he was further away, but then again, he was still at an angle where the door opens, he can see where the door is opening from. If he was on the other side of the door, it would have been a little bit pointless. But the fact that the main guy with the AR-15, who I'm assuming was the shooter, if not both of them fired their weapons, I believe he's gonna be caught, and he's gonna be caught quick because he's too identifiable. And I'm sure that police most likely already know who he is. They just haven't put it out there. They're doing their best to track and find out where he's at. Because if he has any type of criminal record, those tattoos are already gonna be on file. It's gonna be very easy for them to pull up who this person is. And at that point, they just need to find him. For the second person, you can't tell who that is. And there's not really gonna be anything there for them to tell by unless a fingerprint was left on a shell casing, something of that nature, or unless the first guy tells on the second guy. But I'm going with this wasn't a targeted hit. This was something that there was a different motive behind it, and it turned into what it turned into. It turned into a deadly shooting, a senseless shooting, in which somebody lost their life that didn't deserve what happened to them. And, you know, nobody deserves it, but at the same time, you're less sympathetic for those that actually engage in that type of lifestyle versus somebody that actually tries to go about things the right way. Now, the friends and family have been very vocal through social media about wanting to catch the shooters, insisting that people know who he is, especially Staten Island is a small place. New York itself, even though it's gigantic, people within the lifestyle seem to all know each other and all be connected. So they're pretty sure people already know who he is just off of seeing the tattoos that were visible inside of the picture. And they want somebody to step forward because they're not street type people. They're not seeking revenge. They want things to be handled justifiably. And I can't blame them for the type of lifestyle that they live. But this is just another case of life not being fair, especially for somebody that's tried to abide by the rules and go about things the right way, even though they come from the same struggle as most of these violent gang members and shooters within the city. And for the shooter, if he does get caught, I mean, just that gun charge alone is gonna send him up the road to prison on top of the murder. He's on the run. And he's gonna stay on the run because if he gets caught, he's out of there. But hey, it's 1090J. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Until next time.
What good, my peeps? What good, my peeps? More videos coming soon, so like, comment, share, and subscribe. Wanna know the vibes?